In this episode of Solving Trig Equations, we are going to take our factoring up to the next level. So we aren't just going to factor, we're going to also have to use trig identities. So if you're not great at factoring yet, you got to go back, watch the previous video, or find other videos on how to factor. So I'm looking at this equation, and it's already set equal to 0, which is nice. But what I notice is I have two different trig functions. Now, if I had two different trig functions and I was able to factor one of them out, I'd be okay. But I can't factor any of them out right now. So what I have to do is I have to find a way to manipulate the question so I only have one trig ratio. Now, what I notice right off the bat is I have this sine squared, and I have all of my trig identities memorized. And so that sine squared is just jumping out at me. That sine squared can be rewritten as 1 minus cosine squared of theta using a Pythagorean identity. Everything else in the question will stay the same. You're going to have a 2 out front. 2 is being multiplied by all of sine squared. So 2 is going to be multiplied to the 1 and the negative cosine squared, plus 3 cosine of x minus 3 equals 0. Now I only have one type of trig function, and so life is a heck of a lot easier, but I need to go through the algebra. I'm going to distribute a 2 in, and I'm going to have 2 minus 2 cosine squared of x plus 3 cosine of x minus 3 equals 0. I'm going to combine my like terms, 2 and negative 3, and I'm going to have negative 2 cosine squared of x plus 3 cosine of x minus 1 equals 0. At this point, we have a lot of different routes that we can go. Some of you, you're great at factoring. You're just going to factor right here, and that negative in the front is not going to bother you. For me, I really don't like that negative being in the front. And so what you can do is you can add this to that side, subtract, and add. So what that's going to look like is you're going to be left with 0 over here. I'm going to add this to the other side. I'm going to subtract this to the other side. And I'm going to add this. Essentially, all that happens is all of your signs flip. For me, that makes things so much easier because now this is positive.
Steele High School, can the track athletes, please be released at this time? Thank you.
We love it when announcements go on. And it froze. Oh no, I don't know how to make it freeze or unfreeze. Let's see. Can we pause the recording? Let's see. Okay. Sorry, that was weird. Okay. So just like in our previous video, we are going to factor. Again, if you're still struggling with factoring, you've got to look up some other videos and things to help you factor. So the two things that have to fill this space have to multiply to that. The only way to multiply to 2 cosine squared is a 2 cosine and a cosine. So 2 cosine is going to give you 2 cosine squared, and these spots have to multiply to 1. So the only way to multiply to 1 is 1 and 1. Now I need to figure out positives and negatives. Those come from this right here. So these have to swoop to be negative 3. So right now 1 times cosine is cosine. 2 cosine times 1 is 2 cosine. And we want them both to be negative because that would add to negative 3. So our signs here are going to be negative and negative. So we've done the factoring component of it. Now the whole purpose of factoring is so that we can set our factors equal to 0 and get our actual answers. So you're going to take it one factor at a time. You're going to take that one, 2 cosine of x minus 1. You're going to set it equal to 0 one step at a time. We're going to add a 1. We're going to divide by a 2. And we're going to take our chart and we're going to find when does cosine equal 1/2. So here's our cosine column. It equals 1/2 at pi over 3. And I want to see if it equals 1/2 anywhere else. 5 pi over 3. So my answers here are pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3. We're not done yet, though. We have to set these factors equal to 0 as well. So we're going to have cosine of x minus 1 equals 0. We're going to add 1, and we're going to take our chart, and we're going to find when does cosine equal 1? It equals 1 at 0. Those are all of my answers right there. Now, if you want to check your work, you're going to take Desmos, and you're going to type in your function. And I typed in the original function, which was 2 sine squared of x plus 3 cosine minus 3. I set my domain here to only show me 0 to 2 pi because all of the questions are 0 to 2 pi. And now my first answer is at 0, which we got. I have an answer at pi over 3, which we got. And I have an answer at 5 pi over 3, which we got. This one is technically outside of the domain because it was a rounded for 2 pi. And so that one's outside the domain. So when you're working with these, you have to make sure that you get one trig function, use a Pythagorean identity or whatever you need to get it in terms of one trig function, and then solve it just the way you would solve anything.